Here's a video going over the worksheet SSS, SAS, ASA, and AAS. So on the first problem, where to begin? Well, we don't know any of the angles, and we don't know any of the sides. So let's start off with the fact that we know that the lines are parallel. Since AB is parallel to DC, then we know that the two marked angles have to be congruent. And also, line BC is parallel to AD, which means the other two angles have to be congruent. And since BD and DB are the same line, that means they have to be congruent to itself. So now we have an angle, a side, and another angle that are congruent to an angle, side, and another angle. So that is our reason that these are congruent triangles. To name the triangle, I can pick any point on the triangle. I picked A because, first letter of the alphabet. And if I pick A on one side, I'm going to have to pick C on the other. To find the next point on the triangle, I am going to follow the A to the B, which followed the double parallel line. So on the other side, I'm going to go from C to D. And the remaining point for the triangle will be the last remaining point. So it's ABD, and for the other one, it's CDB. And I double check, and those seem to match up with the triangles that I say are congruent. So for this problem, we have a lot more information. We know 4 angles and 2 sides. So let's start with the angles. A and C both have 1 hash mark, so that means they are congruent to each other. Side AE and side CD are both the same size, so those are congruent also. So the angles at E and D are congruent, but it's the wrong ones. But considering that they are linear pairs, that means the angles on the other sides are congruent also, which puts them inside the triangles that we're looking at, AEB and CDB. So again, we have an angle followed by a side followed by an angle. So angle, side, angle is our reason that these two triangles are congruent. So to name the triangles, we're going to start with the congruent parts. So if I start with angle A on the other triangle, I'm going to start with angle C, because they are the ones that have the 1 hash marks with them. So then I'm going to follow the 1 hash mark side. So I go from A to E, and on the other side, I go from C to D. Then I will follow the last side up. So both of them head up to point B. And so I have the triangles AEB is congruent to CDB. So on this triangle, we notice that we have angle B and angle D are congruent. And then there's some words there on the side. So AC bisects angle BD. So angle BAC is congruent to angle CAD. And AC is congruent to itself. And so we have an angle, and side that match up. So the reason that we know that triangle ABC and ADC are congruent is angle, angle, side. So to name the triangles, we start with the angles that have 2 hash marks, which are both the vertexes of A. Traveling to the next point, we're going to head towards the angles that only have 1 hash mark, which is angle B and angle D. And we end the journey by going from B to C and from D to C, giving us the triangles ABC and ADC. So what do we know about this set of triangles? Well, we have angle A and angle C are congruent, and we have some parallel lines. And parallel lines means that we have that angle at D and that angle at B are congruent to each other. And again, BD is congruent to DB. So again, we have an angle, and a not included side. So we match up vertex A with vertex C. Then we follow the parallel lines, which give us the points D and B. And then we go to the points B and D, which gives us the triangles ADB and CBD. If you have any questions, please ask in class or send me a message. Thank you. Bye.